Live, local, late breaking. This is Newswatch 12 this morning.
Good morning. We're taking a live look out at South Medford from Coquel Casino and Resort. The time is 6:30 on February 11th. Welcome to Newswatch 12 this morning. I'm Carlos Murrieta. Before we check in with Sarah Kress, we begin with breaking news in search for Nancy Guthrie. Authorities say they detained and then released a person overnight. It comes as investigators focus on a town not far from the Mexico border, but the search is continuing this morning. This morning, the person who says he was detained for questioning in connection with the abduction of Nancy Guthrie has now been released. Investigators focusing on the small town of Rio Rico, just south of Tucson, Arizona. Descending upon this home where a court-authorized search was completed overnight, but still no apparent sign of Nancy Guthrie. A woman claiming to be the homeowner spoke to our ABC affiliate, saying someone called in a tip reporting Guthrie was there.
I don't know who she is. I don't know anything about her. They only said that they gave a tip that she was in my house. And I told them, you can go in and search my house. There's nobody there. I have nothing to hide. She told reporters her son-in-law was the person detained by police, identifying the vehicle in the picture and saying he is a delivery driver in Tucson, but insisted he had nothing to do with Nancy Guthrie's disappearance.
Detaining people while you're doing a search is not uncommon.
It comes hours after the FBI released new images of a masked man approaching Nancy Guthrie's home the night she was abducted. The video showing the subject appearing in the entranceway, slowly walking towards the front door, his face covered by a ski mask, wearing gloves, carrying a backpack, and authorities say he was armed with a gun on his waistband.
There was a lot to look at in that video. You were able to see the eyes to a degree. You were able to see how tall approximately how tall he was, approximately what his build was like. All of those indications will help somebody identify that person.
Savannah Guthrie quickly sharing those images on social media, writing, "Someone out there recognizes this person. We believe she is still out there. Bring her home." Sources told ABC News that the Guthrie family was shown these images before they were made public and did not recognize the man. And a tragedy in Western Canada after a deadly mass shooting at Tumbler Ridge Secondary School yesterday. Police say at least 9 people were killed and more than 24 others were injured. A superintendent with the Royal Canadian Mounted Police described the scene.
Multiple injuries and multiple deceased were inside the school as officers progressed through the scene, locating them and triaging those events. We also located 2 deceased at another scene.
According to a statement, the suspected shooter was found dead from apparent self-inflicted injury. The high school shooting is one of the deadliest in decades, according to police. At this time, police don't believe there's an ongoing threat to the public. Coverage, the Oregon Department of Transportation is warning of major cutbacks if transportation funding remains uncertain. State leaders say layoffs, service reductions, and fewer resources could be on the table as lawmakers discuss on how to close a growing budget gap. Officials told lawmakers that the agency could face significant staffing cuts if voters repeal a funding package approved last year. The plan raised gas taxes and DMV fees to bring in more revenue, but Republicans gathered enough signatures to send those increases to voters. Lawmakers now have about 2.5 weeks to decide whether that vote happens in May or November. And now let's go ahead and check in with Storm Alert Weather 12 meteorologist Sarah Kress with a look at our Wednesday. Sarah, how's it looking out there this morning?
Well, this morning, some of us could encounter some light showers. We're getting a little bit of brightness finally to our day, now sitting at 6:33, but temperatures were at 39 over into Medford, 37 for Grants Pass. We are seeing some fog development, mainly only into the Grants Pass area, maybe into the Illinois Valley. Due to that increased cloud coverage, it is a little bit more difficult for that fog to develop, but maybe you'll encounter some patchy areas throughout the start of your day. In terms of those light showers, we're seeing them mainly right now into Jackson and Josephine counties and along the Cascades. We're starting to see some of those showers work their way up into southern Siskiyou County. So throughout your day today, we'll continue to keep an eye out on those showers, but they will be rather light if you see anything. So we took a look at temperatures earlier. We're still at 39 for Medford. East side, we're at 28 for Lakeview, 37 for Mount Shasta, 45 along the coast. It is a little bit warmer for some, especially the Mount Shasta area. We're about 7 degrees warmer in Medford this morning, so you may notice that heading out the door, but not a big difference throughout your day. In terms of those highs, we'll be up into the mid-50s for the Rogue Valley, and you'll notice into the afternoon we'll get a little bit more sunshine into the mix for partly cloudy skies into the Rogue Valley, and elsewhere we could still hang on to a little bit of that cloud coverage, especially into southern Siskiyou County and areas east side, but you'll notice it'll be a bit brighter as you're ending out those daylight hours. But around the rest of the region, we're going to continue on with those mild temperature trends, and as we switch in tomorrow, we're going to be tracking out a dry weather stretch, at least for your Thursday and Friday. I do have some news when it comes to the weekend. If you're hoping for a bit more of that wet weather to work its way in, I'll have more details on that coming up in your next forecast.
Parents at Highland Elementary are raising concerns on social media after receiving a letter about an investigation, and that letter says Oregon State Police are investigating the staff members' reported misconduct involving a student. Newswatch 12's Grace Fritz has more on this developing story.
Behind me is Highland Elementary School in Grants Pass, which Grants Pass School District 7 has confirmed that a staff member at this school is on leave with an allegation of misconduct investigation pending. On February 9th, the Highland Elementary principal sent a message out to parents, which I found on a Grants Pass community Facebook page, saying late last week we were made aware of an allegation of inappropriate conduct involving a staff member. I reached out to the principal's office, where I was immediately sent to the district communication specialist, Kristen Hosfeld, who told me, quote, "We are aware of an allegation involving a staff member that is currently under investigation by the Oregon State Police. As soon as the district was notified, the staff member was placed on leave in accordance with standard procedure and has not returned to work. Due to the active investigation and student privacy laws, we are unable to provide additional details at this time," end quote. I reached out to Oregon State Police and haven't received any information. Parents and community members on the Facebook group where the photo and a lengthy message about the incident was posted have left over 60 comments, many sharing their apologies for the family involved and others scrutinizing how the school handled the situation. Hosfeld told me that any allegation of misconduct is taken seriously and is always reported. Oregon State Police is leading this investigation, which is normal in the state of Oregon for any school employee. This is still a developing story, and we will make sure to update you with more when we learn more. Reporting in Grants Pass, I'm Grace Ritz.
And we've been tracking the growing wolf concerns around our region, but a new lawsuit is demanding a national recovery plan for the gray wolf. The lawsuit was filed by the Center for Biological Diversity, saying the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service refused to develop a national plan under the Endangered Species Act late last year. The center says the current plan from 1992 neglects to cover the West Coast and southern Rocky Mountains. The lawsuit comes after Siskiyou County extended the local emergency due to the presence and impacts of gray wolves on January 6. Moving into the School Watch, staff and supporters from the Ashland Family YMCA Outdoor School are heading to the Oregon State Capitol, lobbying lawmakers to restore funding they say is critical to keeping the program alive. After state budget cuts, Camp DeBoer at the YMCA lost about 20% of its funding. Every year, 1,000 students attend its outdoor school, exploring forests, wetlands, and the Lake of the Woods shores through hands-on learning.
We offered massive scholarships, and I believe that that's only going to last so long before, these cuts have already affected over 100 businesses in Southern Oregon, just from our camp alone. That's everyone from the local farms in town to the construction workers that are helping repair, to the plumber. We've had to cut all of them. What would restored funding do? It restores our economy in Southern Oregon.
To keep schools participating, the nonprofit has offered more than $100,000 in discounts this year. While food, staffing, and insurance costs continue to rise, leaders say without restored funding, programs like this may not survive another year. New this morning, a new bill in California aims to secure the future of the California State Library Parks Pass, a program granting library card holders free vehicle day use entry to over 200 state parks. Assembly Bill 1804 would officially allow the California Department of Parks and Recreation to collaborate with the California State Library to offer these passes. The program began in 2021 with 5,000 passes and expanded to 33,000 in 2022. Despite its popularity, the program has faced funding uncertainties relying on annual state budget appropriations. This bill seeks to create a sustainable framework for the program, ensuring ongoing support while maintaining budget flexibility. And 2 representatives of the Klamath tribes met with Oregon U.S. Senator Jeff Merkley in Washington, D.C., speaking about the issues impacting the Klamath tribes. Chairman Ray Jr. and Secretary Allen are in D.C. for the National Congress of American Indians Executive Council. They're taking the opportunity to speak with leaders impacting decisions in the Klamath tribe's surrendered territory and treaty-protected lands. The tribe says educating elected leaders on their real-world impacts helps create a new path forward with respect and understanding.